Any questions, please? From the last session or about this course, any questions from anyone, please?
Hi, good morning, Lakshman.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
This is Shilpa. I'm just joining the session today.
Okay. Okay, fine. So just we completed only one session. That's all about the introduction to Fusion applications. What is a cloud, on-premise? These are the points we discussed. Our team will share you the last session recorded video. You can go through it. If you have any questions, we'll talk on that. Okay. But there is no much dependency on last session when we talk about today's session. Fine. Any questions from anyone, please? Okay, seems to no questions. Fine. So in the last session we discussed about the cloud options or cloud flavors as SAS, PaaS, IaaS.
Sorry to interrupt you, Lakshman.
Please go ahead.
I don't see your. Are you sharing your screen? I don't see it.
Yes, I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, I don't see.
Connect and connect again then. Okay.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. Fine. So we discussed about SAS, PaaS, IaaS. And what is the difference where we can do the customizations and where we cannot do the customizations? Those points also we discussed very detailed level. And what customizations, when you say customizations, whether that is related to some reports customizations or functionality related customizations, those points also we just gone through with the different slides which we have for this SAS, PaaS and IaaS. IaaS just hosting, right? Just hosting service. Here you could see the applications for the any company implementation. In today's session, what we'll do is, if you are going to work on the application, if you want to work on the application as a consultant, we require a user with full privileges. With all privileges, we require access to the applications. So that application, if you want to have access to full privileges to that application, that user required access to what sort of permissions, those permissions, how that user can get, we'll talk on that. Then we'll see in the application how to create the user. So for whatever the environment we get access to do the Oracle Fusion applications implementation, that simply we can call as instance, where you can find all the applications. In cloud, the same instance you can call as a pod. You can call it as instance or you can call it as a pod. Since it's a cloud, you can call it as a pod. Instead of calling it as Fusion instance, you can call it as Fusion pod, like iPod. Fine. So lightweight. Now, say you have a user called as ERP tree, and you want to allow this user, okay, to work on the implementation. Now, what are the permissions required for this user? Hardly this user required access to two roles. Those are application implementation consultant and IT security manager. Okay. If you can provide access to these two roles, the user can have full privileges to work on the application as per the scope of the implementation. That means what are the applications they are going to implement as per the client requirement, those applications can be implemented. If you give the access to ERP tree user for this role called as application implementation consultant, what this ERP tree user can do? This ERP tree user will have access to environment called as FSM. Okay, FSM. From this FSM, you will be able to do the setups or say configuration. What does it mean by FSM? FSM stands for Functional Setup Manager. Okay, FSM stands for Functional Setup Manager. With the help of Functional Setup Manager, we can do any application related configuration. If you give the access to IT Security Manager role for any user, that user will have access to the environment called as Security Console. Okay, the user can have access to Security Console. From the Security Console, any user can create the new users, and we can assign the roles to users. Okay, roles to user, and we can create the custom roles as per our requirement. Okay, custom roles. Okay, these and all can be done from the Security Console. If you can assign these two roles to any user, that user can do the setups with the help of FSM, and with the help of Security Console, the user will be able to create the new users, what are the users we required, and what are the roles the users required. Those also we can create, and if at all required by business, we can create the custom roles. If you compare with EBS, in EBS we have a concept called as menu and submenu. Okay, in EBS we have a concept called as menu and submenu. Right, for every applications you can find the menu. Within that menu you can have a submenu. If you take example of payables application, the payables menu consists of submenus. The submenu is nothing but invoice related process is one submenu. Payment process related functions you can find as a submenu. The same way Fusion, we have a roles concept. Instead of menus, Oracle is providing the roles concept. So in Fusion, equal to menu, we have a job role. And equal to submenu, we have duty role. Okay, this is how we have in the Fusion applications. In EBS, we have a menu concept. The same menu concept in Fusion we have as a job role. And in EBS, you could see submenu within the menu. The same way within the job role, you can have a duty role. Right? So when you talk about these two roles, application implementation consultant and IT security manager, both are job roles. Inside of these job roles, you can find the duty roles. Duty roles you cannot associate to the user. Only job roles you can assign to the user, so that user will get connected to job role. Within the job role, what are the duty role we have? Through the duty roles, user will be able to have access to specific functionality. Within the submenu, we'll have a functions, right? Okay, so within the submenu, we can have a function. What is the use of function in EBS? With the help of function, only user will be able to access to specific form, right? The user can have access to a specific function. Their user can do some setup, or user will be able to perform some transactions. Okay, so user can perform the transactions. So that is a use of the function. In the same way, equal to function, in Fusion we have a privileges. Okay, we have a privileges. So the privilege will give the access to the user to access any page. Okay, So this is how you can compare. In EBS we have menus, equal to menu we have a job role. In EBS we have a submenus, equal to submenu. In Fusion we have a duty roles. And in EBS we have within the submenu you can have a functions which allows us to access the forms or pages. Equal to that, here we have a privileges. This job role we can assign to the user. With the help of job role, the user will get connected to duty role. Within the duty role, what are the privileges we have, those user can utilize to record the transactions or to perform the setups. So if somebody is not from the EBS background, you can ignore the point, simply try to understand. Okay, we have to assign the roles to the user. Those roles we call as job roles. Within the job roles we'll have a duty roles. Within the duty role we'll have a privileges. How those looks like and what sort of access we can get, we'll see once we get into the applications. Okay, any questions from anyone based on these points, please?
Hey, Lakshman, quick question.
Yeah.
This is Pearl. So in the job role, so once you assign a user a job role, can you restrict their access to specific duty roles?
Yeah, that you have to plan and you have to do it. Say for example, I'm going to assign one job role to the user. Say within the job role I have 5 duty roles. My requirement is I want to give the access to only 3 duty roles to that user. So in that case, what you can do is make a copy of the job role. So whatever the job role you have, it has 5 duty roles. Now your requirement is you want to give the access to only 3 duty roles for your user. Now make a copy of job role, remove those 2 duty roles, then 3 will remain in that. That you can assign to the user, that you can call it as custom job role.
Okay, and an IT security manager is responsible for that.
anything else it's applicable. So whatever Oracle is providing, that we call as seeded job roles or seeded duty roles. Okay.
Okay.
So by copying those, you can create your custom. We are going to cover those also in our classes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any questions? Fine. Now we'll see how to create our own user. So when you are working for any client, definitely the Oracle will provide.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakshman, can I hear me? This is Munshi.
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, I had a problem with microphone. Anyway,
okay.
So what is the differences? It is the user security practice. It is the same as EBS, or they added something new? I can see so far it is the same process. The EBS security, the menu responsibility, that's how we use and modify. Is it the same thing?
Yeah,
similar, or they added something different, extra?
No. If you compare with EBS, okay, if you compare with EBS exactly, can you assign the menu to user in EBS directly?
No, it goes to a responsibility then.
Yes, you have to take the menu into responsibility. Responsibility you can assign to user, right?
Yeah.
The user will connect to the menu through responsibility, right?
Exactly.
But in the Fusion, so between the user and menu, okay, in EBS, between the menu and the user, there will be connectivity called as responsibility. The responsibility to manage something else also, right? Request group, data group specification, etc., right? So between the menu and the user, you have a concept called as responsibility. But in the Fusion, equal to menus, we have a job roles. The job role you can assign directly to the user. User can connect to job role, okay, and within the job role, what are the duty roles the job role has, and within the duty role, what are the privileges we have, the user will be able to access.
So they removed the responsibility concept.
No responsibility concept.
Okay, thank you.
No responsibility concept. In EBS, when you create responsibility, within the responsibility will have a menu and request group, right? So within the menu,
submenu,
yeah, within
function.
Menu, you can have submenus and functions. Within the request group, what we can have, what we can find within the request group.
Yeah, the concurrent request.
Yes,
It
simply
means
say
report.
reports or programs, right?
Yeah.
Reports. But in the Fusion, these both we have within the job role only. Within the job role, okay,
Mhm.
with the privileges you can have all the functions, and within the job role itself you can include the reports whatever this job is required.
I see.
Yeah. In EBS, menu is different and request group is different, right?
Indeed.
But here in Fusion, within the job you can have both. That's how they do it.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no separate request group concept in the Fusion to manage our programs. Those could be reports or some just programs which will process the data, doesn't matter. Everything you can include within the job role.
So what do you call in the request group is parallel name in
There is no
Fusion?
request group. I'm saying there is no request.
Okay. So
Okay.
all the report names are there
Yeah,
in front
report
of
names, how many
job role.
reports you require. Say you have a payables supervisor role. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Say you have accounts payable supervisor role. So accounts payable supervisor need access to how many reports? Select into the role. That's all.
Okay. So I'm not creating any report group and attached to a request
No,
group. It
no, no.
doesn't work in that way.
No, no.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to
Thanks for the
group the multiple reports, create one duty role.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Create one custom duty role. Okay, tag
Got you.
10 or 20 reports that you can select into job role. That's
Yeah.
how you can make a set of some reports what you require for specific role or specific department or specific application as per your requirement.
Great.
So that you can do. Any other questions here, please? We'll see once we
Yeah,
the
Lakshman.
application, this will get more clarity. We'll see and we'll discuss few more points to understand more detail level. Here just like as introduction. Okay. We are not
Yeah,
starting and ending with the concept. It's just introduction. Once we get into the application, we'll see more detail. Yeah.
Lakshman, quick question.
Yep.
You see how you indicated functional setup manager right next to your application implementation consultant. So is the FSM considered a submenu?
So when you talk about FSM, okay, FSM can be accessed from this application implementation consultant role. Okay, so application implementation consultant role, this is one of the job role. The job role consists of duty roles which are related to FSM. Within that, we'll have all privileges to do the setups. Okay, now this is these terms related to EBS. Okay, forget about this job role. Application implementation consultant role is one of the job role. If you assign this application implementation consultant job role to user, that user will be able to perform the setups for any application. That means within that, for all the applications we have a duty roles, setup related duty roles. With the help of duty roles, you will be able to do the setups. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. Now we'll go and create one user and we'll assign the roles. Yeah.
Lakshman, sorry, one question here.
Yeah.
You mean to say FSM is like act as a system administrator?
I don't say system administrator. If you say system administrator, I have one question. Can you do the setups from the system administrator?
No, it's like mandatory
no.
for while
No,
creating the
no, no. It's a mandatory.
response.
It's a mandatory, but you cannot do the setups from system administrator. If you say like
Okay.
FSM, system administrator is equal to what? In that case, my question is, how do you do the application related specific application specific setups in the EBS? For each application, we create one responsibility, right? With the help of that responsibility, you'll be able to do the setups. If you want to do
Yes.
table setups, you have to go to the payables responsibility, you can do the payable setups. Of course, the responsible what you are talking, the responsible should have access to the main menu, which is provided by Oracle as a seeded menu. And if you want to do the receivable setups, you have to go to the receivables responsibility, you can do the setups. If you want to do the asset setups, you have to go to that responsibility. So, but in FSM, you can find all application related setups. If you want to compare, what is equal to system administrator, okay, whatever you have in EBS as system administrator, that is equal to what in the Fusion, I can say IT security manager role. Okay, that will give you the access to users creation
Okay.
and roles assignment to the user. Means in EBS responsibilities you can create and you can assign to the user, right? Here, if you want to create your own roles, you can create and you can assign to the user, or else whatever Oracle providing, those roles you can assign to the user, which is more or less equal to responsibility only. Yeah. Any questions here, please?
So the reports are treated as a function here?
The reports, it may be related to any functionality, or it may be related to report. Everything you call as a privilege. Privilege can be specific page or report.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Any questions? Fine. Now we'll go and see how to create the user. You can call it as implementation user. That means the user, whatever we are going to create, will be able to do the implementation, since the user is going to get access to these two roles. Okay, when you get access, when you get instance details from the Oracle, they'll create one user and they'll provide to us. With the same user, we can proceed with the implementation, or else we can create our own user and we can start doing all the setups from our user instead of using whatever the user Oracle is going to provide. Okay, fine. So this is the instance we are going to use. This is a SAS instance. Okay, software as a service. So already I created one user within this as a ERP tree. I will log into this instance. So for your practice, we will provide you the separate user. With that user, you can log in and you can create your own user. We'll see how to create our own user. So once you log into the instance, you will be landing on this home page. Okay. So you will understand all these points, what you see here, what you see in this section, everything. But now let's target to the point how to create the user. Okay. So slowly we'll be understanding each and every point here, everywhere, whatever we have to understand. Now let's focus on user creation. To create the user, you have to click on this navigator icon. It's a bar icon. See here, the left side on the top of the corner. Just click on that navigator icon. Here they're given the name as a vision. It's a logo. You can upload the logo. This is a vision instance. Here you can find the sample data also, which is created by Oracle as a part of vision definition. But now we are not going to depend on any sample data. In case of fresh instance, how to start with the implementation, that approach we are going to follow. We never touch any sample data which is created by Oracle. We'll be creating everything our own, how we do in case of real implementation. Just click on navigator. Within this navigator, go to tools. Here we have a tools. Under tools, go to security console. From the security console, you can create the user. Let's create our own user. Just click on security console, task, everything we call as a task here. Ignore that message. There is a separate concept to understand that point. What does it mean? Ignore it. Select users. Okay, select users. Click on add user account and provide the name for the user. So let's name it as, I want to create one user called as Cloud ERP. The same here, the first name, last name, email ID. Out of all these, last name is mandatory, username is mandatory. Provide password and confirm the password. I given last name as a Cloud ERP, and the same system is defaulting as the username. If you want to override, you can override it. Okay. So provide the password. Here you could see the simple policy for the password. Okay, password policy. It's very simple. At least 8 characters, one number. Set the password. Now you can click on save and close so that user definition will be ready. Along with this user definition, if you want to assign the roles, we discussed 2 roles are required so that, this user will be able to act as an implementation consultant. You can, by clicking on add roles, you can assign the roles to this user, or else you can say save and close so that user will be ready. From this page, you can find out the user whatever you created. You created user as a Cloud ERP. Click on search. So user display name and username, and the user status is active. And go to actions. If you want to log this user account, you can do that so that we cannot log into the instance with this user, or you can reset the password for this user. If you want to delete this user from the system, yes, you can do that. So if you want to reset the password,
I can delete the user?
you can select it. Sorry?
I can delete a user?
Yes, you can delete
Oh
the
my
user.
gosh.
They given that option.
Yeah, it's not a SOX compliance.
Of course, we should know what to do, what not to do. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't do it. Okay. Because of some reason, just for some I mean, you created some test user or etc. That is no more required in the system for the business users, etc. In that case, you can delete it. That's all. Okay.
Hey,
Even that flag.
Lakshman.
Yeah.
Lakshman, Ravi here. So
Please.
you can delete even if the user has
Any
roles
point
as
of
assigned.
time you can delete. Yes. Not only just any.
It's a transactions. I have created some invoices
Yes,
and
yes,
posted.
yes. That's what I'm telling. At any point of time, you did the setups with that user, you can delete. The user recorded many transactions, still you can delete.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That is allowed. Fine.
Hey, Lakshman, in
Yeah.
real life,
Can we change the security? As you mentioned, it is mandatory 8 characters. How can I change it to reduce it or to increase?
You can do that. Okay. In the administration part, you can set your password policies.
Okay. Thank you.
That you can do. Now, what are the simple policy they given? We have seen there. You can set from the administration side. You can set how many characters, uppercase, lowercase, etc. These you can set accordingly. That will work. Yeah.
Lakshman, can you hear me?
Yeah, please. I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, quick question. So in real life, just like how you're logged in as user ERP tree right now, in
Yeah.
real life, would you get the initial login from Oracle Corporation?
Yes. They'll create
Okay.
a user for our instance and they'll share with us. With that, you can log in, and with the same user, you can proceed with the configuration, or else you can create your own user. Okay. So we get initial user from Oracle. Fine. Any other questions here, please?
Lakshman, I have a question.
Yeah.
The question I have is that I saw one thing in relationship to HR is that when you create when you try and create an employee, the user ID gets automatically created for an employee. Is that
Yes.
something which is something which you can override by giving a different user ID to the person, or we need to stick to what we are defining in HR?
Yeah. So these can be mapped. See, you can create the user now. That user you can associate with your existing employee. Or else when you are creating the employee, for the employee you can provide the username. Okay.
Okay.
Or else when you are creating the employee, you may not provide the username, but that employee you can associate with the existing user. This is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This is all we are going to see. So all we are going
Okay.
to see. If you want to create the employee, we require primary ledger, business unit, etc., etc. We not at
Yes.
study with all those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
that is the reason we are not creating the employee or employee user.
Hmm.
So when you
Lakshman,
get
probably
access to fresh instance, this is a possibility you can do. The same we are doing. Yeah, please. Seems to some question from someone.
All right, it's maybe a dumb question, but who, when you start an implementation, who requests the Oracle instance from Oracle? Who's responsible for doing that?
Oh, that
And
client
yeah.
will take care of. Okay, as an implementation team, we don't need to do anything. Okay, once we are in the site, the client will provide you that instance details, or else somebody from the client they'll coordinate and they'll make sure that we'll get the instance.
Got it. So they request the instance.
Yeah.
They're the ones who get the first user setup information, and we get it from.
It's very simple. Okay. From the client, somebody will be in touch with Oracle. Okay, taking the subscription, etc., right? Or else our consulting company can help to that client to get instance. But as a consultant, you don't need to involve in the process of getting the instance. So doesn't matter who is going to take the responsibility to get the instance for client. Maybe our company, consulting company, or else maybe from the company side, client side. When you are in the site to do the implementation, you will get that credentials. They'll be sharing the same whatever they get from Oracle. But as a consultant, we want to write something, SAS, etc. No.
So at any point, so you're not a part of the recommendation team that tells the client what kind of cloud you want? Do you want SaaS or PaaS?
No.
You're not. So you're basically going in and already, okay, great.
Yeah, that right. See, when we do this implementation, before we just onboard as an implementation team, there will be sales and pre-sales team from our company, right? If you are working for some consulting company, there will be sales and pre-sales teams. They'll talk to the client. Okay, they'll talk to the client and all the discussions takes place there itself. They'll take the decision whether they have to go to SaaS or PaaS or something else. They'll take the decision. Once these all are done, once our project is awarded to our company, from our company side will be deployed in the client side to work. By the time instance and everything will be ready. Okay.
What is the functionality of single sign-on here? I mean, this single sign-on is like within the application itself, or
yeah, across.
Will talk to the across. Oh, so that means we can do the integration with Active Directory.
The same that you can do for your this Fusion applications also. Whatever you have SSO in your company, the same you can just map with the Fusion instance also. Yeah.
You mean to any Microsoft thing and any other SSO we can integrate this one?
Yes, anything you can integrate.
To have a real feeling of single sign-on.
Yeah.
So Lakshman, in this case, does it provide any web service or API to create auto users, or how it works in cloud?
Auto users.
Yeah, automatic user creation.
Yeah. If you create users, we have here spreadsheet functionality. You can just list out all the users in the spreadsheet. Those you can load into the system. That is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
all those, whatever possible, what are the options we have, what we should know being a Fusion Finance consultant, and at least what we should know the basics from other areas. These also will go through.
So first, I create a user in Microsoft. It means that I have the AD account, and the user ID would be same in Oracle Fusion, right? It will automatically create a user.
You can do that automatic not. If you have some integrations and all, that will flow into this. Okay. Or else you can create from here, or else you can create in the spreadsheet that you can load. And we have a IDM, identity manager. With that, you can manage the users where you are creating, those can be used in which application. Those all you can set up in the IDM application. That's totally different.
Please allow me to ask a dumb question.
Yeah.
Is that, say, for example, the Vision instance is already working. A new accounts payable manager joined. So how it will work? I will create Windows access to him, and it will automatically, since this is a sign-on, single sign-on, it will automatically create a user in the Fusion instance. I just have to add the responsibility. Is it working in that way?
If you integrate, then it would create the same will sync in this environment. That's how it works.
Yeah, I have to add the roles only, right?
No, roles is not no. Here role is, there is no point for the user, right? User can have any roles, just only user credentials.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Fine.
I think Lakshman, it doesn't create the user into Fusion. It's single sign-on is like recognition. So when you sign on to your Windows system, where whatever application you have access to, those details, those credentials are used to log into. So when you have to set up a new user, yeah, you have to create a brand new user. But when you log in, it syncs up and it logs into any specific application. That's my understanding. That's how it works with EBS too.
Yeah, that's true. But if you want to maintain the users from the specific source application to this application, that was the point we were talking about. So that if you want to sync with this application as a user record, user credentials definition in that environment, yes, you can do that. In that case, you have to have some integration so that those details also you can store here. That can be done.
Okay.
That's also possible. You can do that.
Lakshman, one probably a dumb question from me. When you go to the Sandbox environment and when they make those changes to the Sandbox, does it really affect the creation of the users, or that still remains static?
Okay. Sandbox.
Yeah.
So here in this instance, okay, in the Fusion Cloud, whatever you see as a sandbox, and allow you to do any kind of framework changes. It means you change the look and feel and all those things you can do in case of your sandbox. Here you can find, I think, in this. Okay, I think in this environment the link is missing. Are you referring about this sandbox, what you see in the cloud, or you are taking the very generic term, the sandbox, which we use as a test?
No, actually, well, actually, the fact is that I'm already enrolled with the ERP tree, and they had provided me with an environment.
Okay.
But I see that it doesn't see the vision, but I see something else. So what I was asking
No.
is
One second here. It's a logo.
Yeah.
It's a logo. Whatever the instance got,
right.
that also vision instance only. I can change this logo to ABC. So in that case, you should not think that is not vision.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
It's a logo. They just uploaded a logo called as vision. Now I can change to ERP tree. It's logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fine.
Thank you.
This is not. You mean this is not the vision instance, like in
this is
EBS?
vision instance.
Okay.
Yeah, this is vision instance, but we are not going to use any vision data. In case of fresh instance, what approach we follow to implement for any client, that we are going to see. Fine. So we'll go to reset the password for this user. Just go to reset password. Select manually change the password. You can provide whatever you want.
So what's the password?
That I am going to use it. Okay, I'll be sharing for you when you are going to use this instance. That would be different.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Fine. Done. Now just we created user. That's it. We didn't assign any roles. That means if you log in with this user to application, you cannot do anything. Let's log out and log into the instance as a cloud ERP user. Now we connected to the instance as a cloud ERP. Now if you click on the navigator, nothing you can do. So me, like my CV in all these are applicable if user is related to employee user. This user is not employee user. This user is not connected with the employee. And you can see the tools. In the tools, nothing you have. Just you can have access to some reports. Okay. But that too, you won't be having the enough permissions. Just this is how every user, even if you don't have access to any roles, these are the basic privileges you will get. Some HR consulting, work list, cloud customer connect, marketplace. It's a very generic information. That's it. So now we'll go and assign the required roles to this user. Then we'll have full access to the instance to work as a consultant. So log in as ERP3. We created user from the security console. Now again go to the security console to assign the roles to this user. Go to tools and select security console. Select users and find our user. Just click on display name or click on username. And for this user, no roles are assigned. Now click on edit. You could see the tab is enabled. Click on add role. So these are the two roles we required for our user to start working on this instance as a consultant. So search for application implementation consultant. Application implementation. First search for application implementation, you could see many roles. Application implementation administrator, application implementation consultant, application implementation manager. So you have to select application implementation consultant role. That role will have all the privileges compared to administrator and to manager. If you assign the role called as application implementation manager, you won't find the access to all the setups, whatever we require to implement. The same is applicable for administrator. So you have to select only application implementation consultant role. Don't select application implementation administrator or manager. Just go with the consultant. So here we can see the application implementation consultant role has two definitions which are given by Oracle. Names are same, but when you look at the role code, okay, ASM application implementation consultant job, ORA ASM application implementation consultant job, the codes are different. So these two are seeded. What is the difference between these two? The privileges point of view, both will have same privileges. You can select any one of the role. You can select the first one or second one, both are same. The role codes are different, but inside what is the difference? Both are same. Both roles will have same privileges, same rights. Any one you can assign, but where it makes some difference. The difference is these two are seeded roles. Oracle won't allow you to modify these roles directly if the role code is starting with ORA. Okay, between these two roles, the second role code is starting with ORA. Which role code is starting with ORA, that role you cannot edit. Directly you cannot edit. But if you want to edit this role, yes, you can edit. Okay, you can go and directly do some modification to this role. You can add some additional privileges to this role. I mean, you can add some additional duty roles into that, or else few duty roles you may delete from that role, or some privileges you can add directly, or some few privileges you can delete. Those and all you can directly do against this first role, but second role Oracle won't allow. So that's what you have to understand. If any role code is starting with ORA, that role cannot be modified. This role can be modified, but what Oracle recommends is whatever Oracle is providing, don't do any modifications. They are not recommending to do the modifications for the roles which they are providing as seeded. If at all you want to do any modifications to any role, simply you can copy the role in the Fusion. You can copy, after copying you can play with that. The same way, these two roles somebody copied. That's the reason you can see the same with the same name. The suffix it is ending with a copy. It's also copied. Yeah, please.
So the question is that anything started with Ora, you can make it copy also? They allowed?
Any role you can copy. Any role you can copy.
Modification.
You cannot modify if it is starting with ORA.
Okay. And all the responsible, sorry again, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
All the roles we have in Fusion has two same name, but two
not all
technical names, right?
Not all.
Not all.
Few roles doesn't have two definitions.
Got you.
Yeah. So wherever you see two, okay, wherever you see two, this is the point you have to understand. Yeah. Any other questions here, please?
Lakshman, one quick question I have.
Sorry?
Sorry. I have one quick question. As you had mentioned about ORA, I also see that when we are trying to assign the roles, there is some which are starting with PER, some which are starting with, some which has been saying that view all, this particular role has got view all. So what is that? I mean, have they copied that and given more privileges to it? Or is it something seeded by Oracle?
No. Apart from this, see, ideally, every role, the role code starts to indicate the application name. Okay, I'll just show you one role which is related to payables. Say accounts payables manager. So payable manager, you have to search. Accounts payable manager. You see, for accounts payable manager also they given two seeded roles. Accounts payable manager. One is starting with the AP accounts payable manager, other one is the prefix ORA. This is how you can see any role. Any role, when you look at the role code, by seeing the role name, you cannot understand the role belongs to which application. If I take an example of one role, billing manager. The billing manager related to project billing or receivables billing. You cannot understand by seeing the name. That's the reason they are giving the code. If you notice in EBS, all the menus almost starts with the application name only. Those will be same as this codes, right? So
yes.
Within the code, you can address the application name. That is the purpose they are giving the code. And again, another point what we have to understand is if the role code is starting with ORA, that cannot be edited directly. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Fine. So that's how the specification they are giving. If anything else, we'll see within the role anyway. We'll see in the classes. If you come across anything or if you see anything, then we'll discuss.
Sure,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Hey, Lakshman, how do you copy a role?
Sorry?
How do you copy a role?
That we have a separate session because in this
Okay.
in this
No, that's fine.
initial classes, if I try with that, it would be some little bit confusion for a few guys. So we'll find right time and we'll do that. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. When we add a role, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, application implementation consultant. If we assign this role, that means that particular user can do any module setups or
yes, you're right. Yes, correct. Okay. That is the point.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Any application setups can be performed by that user. You take example in EBS. If you got access to system administrator, will you be able to implement any application or not?
No.
Yes.
But we have.
Yes.
But we have.
If you get access, one point here. If you get access to system administrator responsibility in EBS, with the help of that responsibility, you can
Yes.
You can add responsibilities
for any
then you can
application,
do that.
and you can
Yeah,
start
but by giving this role, I mean, we are allowing a user to go ahead for any setup. But
No,
in
one second,
EBS,
one second,
unless
one
yes,
second. Here, when you say user, consultant, not business user. Okay. We give this application implementation consultant role access to consultants who are working for the project.
yeah. So that means all the consultant will have access to all the modules set up here.
Correct. Now yeah, correct. Go ahead.
So not secure. The security is compromised. Like in EBS, we can provide them as per his functionality.
No. One second.
And
One
he will
second.
do.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm coming to that point. Even I was trying to raise that point only. So in EBS, you are working for financials. Say you are working for financials. Do you get access to, as a consultant, do you get access to system administrator responsibility?
No.
No, yes. You'll get access. Otherwise, how you can do the implementation?
I'll give the super user.
Yeah, super user.
I'll give the functional implementation responsibility.
How to set profile options?
That's a good question. Super user, I cannot set the profile.
No, listen. See, the super user works for the
only
users
system
who are working in the company, maybe as a managers or etc. As a consultant, you require access to the full system. You should require access to system administrator responsibility in EBS. Maybe you might be working in some different projects where there are certain restrictions. Okay, but in the general implementation, if you are really working as a consultant, you require access to system administrator. You have to set many things. You have to create responsibilities. Okay, how to create the users. You have to assign the responsibilities to the users. Okay, as per the application, you have to set the profile options, assigning the primary ledgers, assigning the operating units, setting up something else, and setting some restrictions through profile options, setting some defaults. Everything should be managed by a consultant only. There won't be someone else to do all this. So as implementation consultant, you require access to system administrator responsibility. If you have system administrator responsibility, you will have access to anything. For any user, you can assign any responsibility. That means you can access any application. And you can do any application related configuration. And you can set the restrictions for some user not to access so and so. The same here, they are giving through this role. That's all. When it comes to business user, whatever you said, that is true. If the user is working for only payables, we allow the payable user to have access to only payables. Those roles are different. Those are application specific roles. These are roles which Oracle designed for consultants. Yep. So that is a point. So here these are the two seeded roles. One is starting with ORA, other one is without ORA. We discussed what is the difference between these two. And the same two roles somebody copied. That is the reason when you're searching for application implementation consultant is also getting displayed. Now you can select any one of these. I'm selecting first one. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, sorry, Lakshman, I may be asking the same question, but here, if suppose there is a receivables setup that has to be done and a payable setups that has to be done. So for both of those guys, you will need application implementation consultant role.
Correct. Yes, you are right.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have a payables manager. Okay, you have a payables manager. You're done with the implementation. Okay, you're done with the implementation. And payables manager or some other payables user required access to certain functionality to create the payment terms, right? To create some distribution sets, etc. In that case, we have a separate roles which allows that users to do that additional setups. But for consultants, this is a role we have to use.
Got you. So for the application user, there are different type of setup, and the consultant, it's a different type of setup.
Setups not roles. The implementation consultant, implementation user required access to entire system, all the applications. Any application should be able to access. You are working as a payables user. Ideally, you need access to perform the payable related transactions. Along with that, payables related few setups you want to do. In that case, we have a separate roles.
Yeah, like payment terms.
Yes, exactly. Payment terms, distribution sets.
So
you can do. Manage.
It's the same thing over here, same concept.
Yeah, same. There you manage with the menus. Here also, whatever the role we are assigning to that user, you can add that privilege into that so that that user will be able to manage. That's how you can do. Yeah.
Can I ask
about giving the privilege?
Another dumb question.
Yeah, please.
Could you please? How is it stocks control internally managed over here into the system?
I mean, what exactly? Could you please talk on that?
I believe they have the GRC module different, right? In Fusion.
That's a totally different. Yes, we have.
Okay.
GRC.
I understand. I think it is managed from there. Then it will be managed from there. Okay.
Any application, you take EBS also. In EBS also, if you want to manage those, we have to implement GRC.
Yeah, GRC. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Fine, done. So let's assign this role to this user. Just click on that role that would get selected. You can click on add role membership. It's nothing but assigning the role to user. The role application implementation consultant was added to the user. Say okay. We want to assign one more role called as IT security manager. Okay. Here also same case. IT security manager. It is starting with FND, IT security manager job. And here it's starting with ORA. So this role you cannot modify. This can be modified. Anyone you can select. And this also somebody copied the same. You could see they copied and they just given the title copied. Okay, do not use and all. Okay, whatever Oracle is providing as seated, let's select it. Say assign. Say done. So what is assignable, what is auto provisioned, this tab, etc. These will understand, that is separate concept again. Okay. So when you create the employee user, okay, these points and all will come into the picture. At the time we'll discuss. So this is how we have to create the user. Which user we can use for implementation purpose.
Hey, Lakshman, quick question.
Yeah.
Just a housekeeping question. Similar to how you have your on-screen help and user guides in the EBS world, what's the equivalent of that here?
Yeah, user guides here also you can find. If you go to Google, you can search for Oracle Fusion Cloud or document repository, you can find the user guides.
Okay, how about the on-screen help?
Sorry?
You know how in EBS you could actually go to the top of the screen and get some additional context to whatever you're looking for?
Yeah, here also we have help. You can enable the help. Okay, so you can get help for any page or any concept and all. We'll go through all those points. Here we have to enable help. We are going to see one by one. Okay, so here you can enable. It will take you to that help portal. You'll be able to access a lot of content from that, videos and documents and FAQs and examples, lot of different type of helps we have. Okay, say save and close. Click on done. So we are ready with the user. We created user and we assign the roles. And in the Fusion applications, when you do this activity, what Oracle is recommending is we have to run one job called as LTAB job. In EBS, the request in Fusion we call a job. In EBS we have a request and request set. In Fusion we have a job and job set. Just they change the name. So after completing this activity, we have to run LDAP job, which is nothing but request or program. We have to run. Why we have to run? First of all, what does it mean by LDAP? LDAP stands for, L stands for lightweight, D stands for directory, A stands for access, P stands for protocol. lightweight directory access protocol. It's one of the directory service in the Fusion applications. What happens is, whenever you assign the roles to user, this roles assignment for this user need to be updated in the LDAP directory services. Otherwise, if you log into the instance as a cloud ERP user, to this user we assign these two roles, right? We done this task. After completing this task, you have to run this LDAP job. When you run this LDAP job, this information for which user, which roles are assigned, that information will be updated in the LDAP directory services. Okay, LDAP directory services or LDAP services. So this information will be updated in this LDAP directory services. When this user will try to log into the instance, the user authentication and everything will work from this LDAP services only. Even if you create a user, that information should get stored in the LDAP services. What are the roles you are assigning to the user, that should get updated. So when user will get connected to the application, when the user is trying to log into the instance, system will verify, the process will verify for this user which roles are assigned, and it will verify in the LDAP services only. Say for example, I assign these two roles to this user. If this information is not going to be updated in the LDAP services, when you log into the instance with this user, you don't find these two roles related privileges for that user. Whatever the roles assignment is updated in the LDAP services, those only you will be able to access. Not just because of assignment you are going to be able to access. After assignment, that should be updated in the LDAP directory services, then only you will be able to have access from that user. What Oracle recommends is, whenever you assign roles to the user, that information should sync with the LDAP services. Whatever the information is getting synced with the LDAP services, accordingly user will have access, not just because of your assigning. Okay, this is the point we have to understand. Any questions here, please?
Here LDAP means local to the application, not to have integration with LDAP like Microsoft Active Directory. Am I right?
It is just synchronization. The same information will get updated in this directory services. That's all.
The same thing we do in EBS too, right?
EBS,
similar thing.
You no need to do
we
it.
Run a process.
What is that? What you are referring?
EBS, probably we run a process to link this type of thing.
No. We don't do this. We'll create users. Will create responsibilities. Okay.
We don't do.
Okay. Directly, you will be able to get connected. There is no synchronization process to update that information in some repositories or some components. The Fusion EBS. No.
Can we provide any other LDAP? Hello. Can I go ahead?
Please.
Okay. Can we provide any other LDAP server string to this LDAP services in order to get sync the user database?
Can you provide what you said?
See, in Microsoft, suppose when I create a user, that is nothing but I'm storing the information into LDAP.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can use this. Yes, you can use this LDAP services. LDAP is one of the directory service in the middleware of the Fusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that okay. That means I can provide my
IDM application.
Okay.
And call as OIM also. Okay. Oracle Identity Manager or IDM. This can be used with EBS also. With any other applications you can use this for user management. What are the information you want to update through this IDM? So we use LDAP services.
Are we going to discuss anything about IDM? I mean, like to understand this LDAP and all. Maybe it's a container of IDM.
Yeah. What Oracle did is in the older versions. Okay. Up to release 10. Now the latest version is release 13 in Fusion. Up to release 10, Oracle is giving the access to IDM for us. You can access to IDM. With an IDM only you have to create the users, you have to assign the roles. From release 11 onwards, against the IDM, they built security console. they are allowing us to do all these activities through security console. What we are doing in the security console, that is the functionality of IDM. Okay.
Okay. Of IDM is provided here, or the limited functionality of IDM is provided here?
Exactly. Whatever required for consultants that they are giving through security console. That's all.
Okay. Again, a dumb question. This is
Yeah.
Munshi. What is Oracle Identity Manager and how it is linked with these things? Is there a relation?
Yeah, Oracle Identity Manager for the purpose of managing the user accounts and giving the privileges to the users to manage the roles, to assign the roles, to create the custom roles, which you can do with the security, IT security. If you assign the IT security manager role, that will give you the access to security console. The security console is the framework they built against IDM to use this IDM or OEM functionality.
Okay. So
in older versions, there was no security console. Directly you can access to IDM, you can do all those user creation, roles assignment to the user, custom roles creation, etc. Okay, later what they did is, if since they are giving IDM access, these consultants are just going and changing this and that, that is disturbing lot. Okay, those things are disturbing lot in instance point of view. That's the reason they created a security console and they mapped with the IT security manager role. Then you'll be able to manage whatever up to what level of privileges you require that you will be getting. That's how they
for operational purpose, do we need still OIM access, or from IT security manager?
Not required. Okay, not required. Operational in the sense you are talking about transactions or some other.
No. Creating user, managing user, adding role.
Those and all you can do from security console.
So we don't have to go identity manager, right?
Yeah. They are not giving access now. In the latest versions, they are not giving. So
okay, so
security console, you can do this user creation roles assignments.
Yeah, I can do that.
Where those are part of from IDM only. Those are IDM functionalities.
So IDM is built in security manager, so I don't have to go
IDM,
explicitly IDM.
Yeah, IDM functionalities they map with the security console. From security console, you will be able to do all these which are part of IDM.
So from 11 onward, right?
Yeah,
we don't have that thing. So the Vision instance that you are working on, which version it is?
Latest release 13.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, so we're LDAP for every user that's created, or just the application implementation consultant role?
Well, could you please repeat the initial when you were talking about?
So you said once the application implementation consultant role is created, the next step is to run that LDAP job?
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not like creation, assigning.
Okay.
Now,
so once those roles are assigned,
implementation consultant, any role, after assigning
any role
to the user.
Okay, that's what I was getting to.
Yes. After assigning any role to the.
Okay, so let's say I create a user for an AE role. I would still have to run that job.
Exactly. That's what Oracle recommending.
Okay.
And other side, you may just create one or multiple users and you may assign the one or multiple roles to those users. Oracle is recommending to run this LDAP job. That is one suggestion from Oracle. Other side, Oracle also will perform this synchronization automatically. But sometimes it may take more time to happen that synchronization. So that is the reason to see the immediate impact of the roles assignment to the user, they are recommending us to run. Say for example, we assign now. So within maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, even if you don't run LDAP job, you can go to that user called as Cloud ERP. You'll be able to have access to application implementation consultant, IT security manager related areas. Okay. But if you don't run this process, sometimes you don't see that access. Okay, you have to wait. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes or more than that also. That is the reason what Oracle is recommending is When you assign the roles, run this. If synchronization is not happened automatically, it will happen because of the job which you are submitting. That's what Oracle is recommending.
Can't we schedule this?
So unless and until we run this job, user will not get that role assigned.
Sorry?
So unless this synchronization has happened, the user will not get the role that we have assigned to him.
Yes. But other point is auto synchronization also Oracle enabled for every instance. Okay, because of that, it may sync and it may work even if you don't run this.
All right. Yeah. So what I want trying to say is, it's not just the assignment. This also has to run so that user will get the roles. Either you wait for synchronization or you run it explicitly.
Sometimes you may see without running also, but sometimes you don't see. That is instead of having that sort of experience. Okay, what you can do is whenever you assign any roles to any user, run this. That's it. You will see what you are expecting to see. That's all.
There was one gentleman who asked this question, Lakshman, is can we schedule this on a process schedule?
Yes, we can schedule like a request in EBS. Any job you can schedule.
Thank you.
We can do that. Okay, fine. We'll go and run this LDAP job. So we created a user and we assign the roles. Now go to Navigator. Go to Tools. Under Tools, we have a Schedule Processes. Just click on this task. So in EBS, we have SRS window, right? So this page is equal to SRS window. EBS, we have SRS window. From there only you can submit any request or request set. Okay. Standard request submission window. So now this page is equal to the same. But this is a web page, that is a form. Here this page we call as ESS job page. Enterprise Scheduler Service page. Okay. EBS SRS window in here in Fusion we are calling as ESS job page. This we call as ESS job page. As per EBS SRS window. Done. Fine. Now just click on schedule new process. See here we have job or job set. In EBS we have request or request set. The same they are giving as a job or job set. That's all. So search for LDAP job. LDAP. Type in uppercase and select the first one. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. Select and say OK. Any job you submit in the Fusion, the job could be some process related or report, you can find the description. In payables or receivables, if you are going to run any report, whenever you select the report here, you can see the purpose of the report. Okay, you can see the purpose of the reports. Say any like anything you can take.
So the implementer has all type of report access, like system administrator.
Full access, yes. I'm selecting this report. Now here you can see it provides detailed information about invoices. Okay, so whatever you run, you can see the description for the report or process. Now in the same way, we are searching for LDAP. Type the name and you can use the tab. It will fetch the same name, whatever the jobs are available. Select and say OK. Because this user, ERP tree user, also got access to implementation consultant role. Application implementation consultant role. This user got access to that. That is the reason this user is able to see all the reports. Okay, what this job will do? It will synchronize users, user-related roles within the role, what are the role grants we have with definitions in LDAP. So all the users for which user, which roles are associated within the roles, which grants, what permissions are available, those everything will be updated in the LDAP directory services. Just click on OK. So no parameters when you are running this user, when you are running this job. That means this job is not specific to the user. This job is specific to entire instance or say pod. Say for example, you created one user and you assigned the role, and I created one user and I assigned the role. If I am going to submit this LDAP job, you don't need to submit if we both are created users in the same instance. So that means this LDAP job runs at entire instance level. This is not user specific, application specific. Just click on submit, say OK. Click on refresh. Now the status is wait. Now it will turn into running. Now if you see the status as a blocked, when you are working on these instances, since this we are using for training and your practice, so if you see the status as a blocked, you have to understand in the same instance before you somebody already submitted the same LDAP job and it is running from that user side. So in that case you will come across with the status called as blocked. Your request, whatever the job you are submitting, you will see the status as a blocked. Once that job is completed, your job will resume to run and complete. That's how it works. When you are practicing on the instance, if you see your job status as a blocked, you have to understand already somebody submitted and it is running. Okay, any questions here, please?
The block set is only for this LDAP job, or it can happen for the other request as well?
Any. It's all for any.
Okay.
Okay, you can resubmit once it's completed, and you can put on hold, you can cancel the process, you can release if you place on hold, and view log, and again below it will create output file also if it is applicable. Okay, if it is report and all, you have to select the, once you submit the report, the status will turn into succeeded. Then you can select the report, and here output file it will generate, you can open that and you can see the report output. That's how it works. It will take a couple of minutes time, but when you submit this job, you don't need to wait to see the status of succeeded. Submit and wait for 1 or 2 minutes and you can proceed. Okay, you can just assume that the synchronization happened, but job state is not turned into succeeded. That's all. But still, I mean, after 2 minutes, you may go and log into that instance as a cloud ERP user. Still, if you are not able to see the privileges which you are expecting to see because of those two roles, in that case, definitely you have to wait to see the status as a succeeded. Okay. If those changes are reflecting okay, or else you have to wait to see the status as a succeeded. Yeah. I think you have some questions.
Does it run only for the deltas and changes, or is it run for the whole users?
For all the users, entire instance level, for which user any roles are assigned, okay, it will just take all those updates and it will synchronize.
Not only the changes.
Yeah. Lakshman, sorry, I may be asking the same thing again, but with application implementation consultant, you will be able to assigning user access and roles, right? But then why we added the IT security manager role?
With application implementation consultant, you cannot create users, you cannot assign the roles. With IT security manager, you can do that.
Okay, so with this a consultant, you can just assign the role.
ERP tree user is able to access to IT security console, right?
Right.
That means this ERP tree user got access to IT security manager role. That is the reason system is displaying security console here. If there is no IT security manager assigned to ERP tree user, you don't see security console under tools.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Any other questions here, please?
Any possibility to know more about LDAP and SSO?
Sorry?
Any possibility to know more in detail about SSO, like how I can pass the string value in order to
We'll talk
understand
on that. Okay, we'll talk on that.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone
Okay.
question will just go through that. What they given here to set up the SSO and all. We'll see that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do. Now, okay, just we waited almost 2 minutes. Hope that updates got synchronized. Even the status is not turned into succeeded. Okay, the final status will be succeeded. But just waited for 2 minutes. That's hope that got synchronized. Sign out and log in as a cloud ERP user. Whatever we created and assign the roles. Just
This instance is locally created or you are accessing through?
For some guys, when they are speaking, the initial volume is very low. Okay, I think Abdul. So when you start speaking, in a few seconds, your voice is low, later it is going up. Okay. Yeah, please repeat your question, please. Do you have a question? Abdul or somebody was speaking. Not sure. Okay. No issues. Now we just connected to the instance as a cloud ERP user. Now we'll go and verify because of these two roles whether this user is able to access to FSM as well as security console or not. For cloud ERP user, we assigned IT security manager. Because of this role, this user should get access to security console. We'll go and check it. So go to navigator, go to tools. Under tools, if you could see security console, that means you have to understand this user got access to IT security manager role. If no IT security manager role to this user, under tools you don't see security console. If you don't have access to security console, from this user you cannot create the users here. Okay. Don't create the users here, you don't see this add users account, etc. You don't see from this user. Okay. So because of this IT security manager, this user is able to have access to security console. Done. Now we'll check. Because of this application implementation consultant, whether this user is able to have access to FSM or not to perform any application related setups. We'll go and check. If you want to check whether the user got access to FSM or not, click on the username. Just click on the username. Within this panel, you could see one task called as setup and maintenance. Here, whatever you just see, those we call as tasks. That's how they're given the naming convention. Okay, you can just click on setup and maintenance task. Now it will navigate us to FSM. This is the FSM page. Okay, this is the FSM page. So from here you will be able to perform the setups. There are different ways to perform the setups. You can create the implementation project. By creating the implementation project, you can do the setups. Otherwise, without creating the implementation project, you can select specific area for which applications you want to do the setups. So financials we selected. You can select particular application. Each application related setup system will display here, and you can perform one by one. These all are the different setups for general ledger application. The same way, if you want to do payable setups, select all tasks. Everything we call as a task. Every setup we call as a task. Okay, and you can do the setups. The same way for every application. Take any application, receivables. Select all tasks. These all are receivable related setups. Okay, so this is how you
have a question.
all the setups and you can do it. Please.
Yeah, I have a question. So when we create maybe a custom role from the test instance to production, how can we migrate it? There is a script to migrate it?
No. The custom roles and all you cannot migrate here. Okay, only you can migrate the setups what we do in the test.
Okay, so anything only setup can be migrated from test to production, right?
Correct.
And specific module wise, special organization wise, I can do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Or I have to do it as a whole?
If you want to migrate the setups from one instance to another instance, first you have to create the project. That we'll be discussing maybe in the next
I'm just
about all those.
Yeah.
So
there is an option. I just
this
need
option is available.
Yeah, but the role cannot be. I think if I design a role in
migrate that. So in that case,
I cannot.
You have to take the support from the DBAs, Oracle DBAs. In case of cloud, okay, in case of cloud, say you did all the setups and you created custom roles as per the business requirement in the test environment.
Exactly.
Now you can talk to Oracle to what need to be migrated from this instance to that instance. They can help you.
Oh, so
as a functional consultant, we cannot do it. As a functional consultant, you can migrate the setup data.
Got you. So this type of service comes from Oracle.
Yeah, you can talk to them. Not only that, see, you create a test environment, you have everything in that. You want to clone that complete environment to another environment, including the transactional data. Yes, in that case also you have to raise SR to Oracle. You can, whatever can be done in EBS with the help of our DBAs, that can be done in DBAs. Okay, we have to take the service from Oracle. That's it.
Okay, thank you for enlightening me.
Fine. So this is how you can see the application.
Yeah.
And you can, please.
Sorry, Lakshman. Yeah, so application implementation consultant, as you shown, like he is able to do the application setup for all of the modules like receivables, GL, and everything.
Correct.
So in ABS as of now, like there are specific persons, actually roles who can perform only receivable setups, or there are other consultants, those who do GL setups. Okay, they like one is not doing everything. So how this is managed in Fusion?
You can see, since they are consultants, you can give the access to FSM, they can do that. Otherwise, you can use we have a separate roles also, which will give the access to specific application. Those roles you can assign to that user.
Okay, so those are Oracle seeded roles?
Yes, seeded roles, yes, you are right.
Seeded roles.
Lakshman, as you said, the configuration after we finish it can be migrated to other instance.
Yes.
This is possible only in case of cloud, or this is possible in case of on-premise as well? Because
the Fusion applications, that could be on-premise or cloud. What you can do is, once you complete the setups, you can extract all those setups. System would create the file. That file you can upload in any instance. Those same setups will be automatically.
So being a functional consultant, can't we? Yeah, can we export all what we have done the configuration?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll be covering in our classes also. Okay, how to do that activity we'll working on.
And then the same we can import it to any other Fusion application.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
But the version should be same. Okay, the release.
That I understand. 13 to 13, 12 to 12, 11 to 11.
Yeah, that's true.
Or make, okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, fine. So this is how you can check whether you got access to FSM or not. From FSM, you can create the implementation project. What else you can do from FSM and all, we'll see in the next session. So here you can create your implementation project. What is the meaning of implementation project? What we can do by using this? If you don't create implementation project, what we cannot do? These what are the benefits and all we'll discuss in the next session. Okay. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back, or else you may go ahead to drop from the meeting. Okay. We're done for today. Any questions from anyone, please?
Yeah, Lakshman, I have a question, but not related to the current session. I'm also enrolled in the HR area.
In that case, you can ask after some time. Okay, let me take the questions. Okay,
thank you.
Related to this session.
Lakshman. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, Lakshman, can you tell me any role related to receivables application consultant?
I'll show you. I'll show you. Like we'll be working on it, right? It's
okay, fine
for introduction.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll see. Even elsewhere,
Lakshman, when are we going to get
custom also.
when are we going to get access to the test environment?
So you can keep in touch with the team. They'll provide you this credentials, your instance
Okay.
username, URL, username, password, everything they'll share.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Lakshman, I have a question on the SAS versus the PaaS.
Okay.
So considering the fact that nobody could just be happy with out-of-the-box functionality, to some extent, all clients will customize the application. Does it mean that everybody has to be subscribed to the PaaS or a higher subscription?
Yeah, definitely. If they want to do some customizations, okay, whatever Oracle is providing as a standard product, if that is not going to meet as per their business requirement, definitely they have to go with a PaaS, which enables the process of customization, which allows them to enhance the product functionality, or else it allows them to build new functionality, or it could be separate application or anything else, or process. Yes, that is only the option if that is the case.
So let's say if I go down that path, let's say I'm subscribed to the PaaS, and as part of this process, I come up with a design to develop a portal that's completely a non-Oracle platform. Is there a way for me to kind of...
Oracle platform means what? Like what portal you are going to develop? Here with anything you are going to develop, the pages, etc. You have to develop with ADF. If you develop ADF, it is non-Oracle, but still that can be deployed in this environment. If you are going to use some different technologies, programming, etc. to develop, that is not possible to deploy in this.
So there's no way for me to integrate that into the cloud platform?
Integration you can do that. In that case, you have to deploy that in the different servers, okay, but not in the Oracle given server. So those you can integrate with the Fusion environment. Integration is possible. Deployment is not possible.
Okay. So far, based on your experience working on these real life projects, how many customers truly just subscribe to the SaaS and are content with the functionality?
So most of the clients are SaaS clients only. You could say more than 95%. Just maybe 5 or 6% the clients are going with the PaaS who are very big organizations.
So does it mean that the 95% of the clients that you just referred to, they have zero RISE components? I understand Oracle does not call reports as customization, but at a high level, does it mean that they have zero RISE components?
No, but still they are going, because most of the clients are small and mid-size. When you say small and mid-size, it's not that much small and that much mid-size. But by looking at the flexibility, auto upgrades, Oracle may come up with some additional features. In that case, this can be catered, whatever they're expecting, and few things which they cannot manage in the current environment, that they are going with workarounds, and they are just trying with some different options. That's how things are going on.
Okay, I have a question. Sorry, go ahead, please.
No, sorry, I'll stop after this. So no, but Lakshman, my point is, right, I mean, considering the fact that the Oracle EBS install base is huge, and Oracle would be looking at that customer base to upgrade to the cloud. So obviously each of those customers are accustomed to a certain flavor of ERP, right? Whether it be customizations, whatnot. And if the cloud does not natively offer that functionality out of the box, I mean, that would be some rough waters to trend with, right?
Yeah, that's what you see. That totally depends. Totally depends. This is how just Oracle is offering, without customization, with customizations, which suits best for them. That's how they have to pick whether SaaS or PaaS. So if customization is very much mandatory for the client, only the option they have to go with the PaaS. Only the difference between these two is in SaaS auto upgrade is possible, in PaaS not possible. That's what the clients are looking at. So if they go with a PaaS, yes, they can do customization, but they lose the opportunity of utilizing the latest functionalities what Oracle comes up with the regular releases. So that's the difference we have to see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
On the similar notes, Lakshman, just a quick question.
Yeah.
So if a client wants to go with Oracle Fusion Cloud apps for the financials. But for HCM, client wants to go with Workday. And the scenario here is client still wants to use Oracle hosted servers. So EAS is also with Oracle.
No.
So EAS is with Oracle, financials is with Oracle, but Workday application is third party, right?
Yes, correct.
And that is possible or not?
Yeah, possible. They can do the integration. They can do the integrations. When you are using the finance to access that employees information and to map this this chart of accounts mapping error, etc. Yes, you can do the third party.
So you could have EAS infrastructure from Oracle hosted services and have Workday running on those.
Yeah, see, you can have IaaS. Okay, you can have IaaS. Any applications you can install in that. You may install Oracle Fusion applications, or you may install the Workday applications. Anything you can install, but it would be like third party. You have to treat as a third party if it is going to be installed in the IaaS, because you are not using SAS or PaaS. So your Oracle is not going to manage your applications. You have to take the responsibility of manage the applications which you are installing in the IaaS. Oracle is not going to help you. Oracle DBAs are not going to help you. You should maintain your own DBA because you just take in the hosting. What you are maintaining, you are responsible.
Got it. And last question.
Yep.
Workday is a pure SaaS based application. It doesn't offer PaaS or IaaS, right?
IaaS, yes. I'm not sure like whether PaaS is available or not in the Workday, but SaaS is there. And again, that is compared to Oracle Fusion or any other applications, a very small product.
Right. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Lakshman, this is Munshi. In terms of customization perspective, what is the boundary in Oracle Fusion between in terms of SaaS and PaaS? For example, we can add a flex field into the Oracle EBS. In ADF pages, we can add a field. So here in ADF, SaaS, we can add a field, something like that.
No. I think you missed out the first session. That's the reason you are asking. You have this question.
Yeah. I missed something.
Yeah. In SaaS.
That's why I'm asking the question end of the session. I did not want to interrupt anyone.
Okay. So this is what we discussed in the last session. Okay, these are the three flavors for the customers from Oracle as a cloud service: SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. In case of SaaS, so you cannot do functionality customizations. The rest all you can do. You can use the standard product as it is, and you can create the reports customizations. You can do third-party integrations, auto upgrades possible. You can use, you can take the Oracle Fusion Cloud DBA support. This is you have to manage with the SaaS. When it comes to PaaS, functionality customizations also you can do. Rest all are same, and auto upgrade is not possible in the PaaS. That is the difference. When you talk about IaaS only.
Yeah, IaaS I have done it.
Server access virtual. Yeah, please.
Okay. Let me ask you a very specific question. I think I can derive my answer from there. Is that, say, for example, in one field, I want to restrict that it should not take more than 10 characters. So this type of customization, or I can create a rule, is that it should be alphanumeric in this field. If I want to do that, I could do it on Oracle EBS through form customization.
Form
in SAS,
personalization.
I cannot do that.
Form personalization.
Yeah. I cannot do it here, right? In SAS?
No, in SAS you cannot do. In SAS you can do the basic personalizations. Means you can make optional field as mandatory, and you can remove the tab or you can remove the field if it is optional. But in case of PaaS, you can do.
Okay, I'm learning. Thank you. That was my question.
Yeah, thank you. Fine. So any other questions?
Lakshman, for example, let's talk on order management. Basically, in order management, if it is in case of multi-org, when we go for searching for customer, it shows all the customers regardless of the OU. Suppose if I want to show it to specific OU customers only. In that case,
One second,
I need to do some kind of.
1 second. That is a standard functionality, right? That is the suppliers, customers are global information, but where you can manage that suppliers and customers information, which is specific to your operating unit or business unit. That's based on whether your BU, the supplier or customer sites are associated or not. Based on that association only, those will be appearing. Otherwise, no.
I mean, suppose if I okay, fine. Suppose if I want to do any sort of form personalization on that particular customer
So
field.
that, yeah, I got it. I got your question. That you cannot do
Please.
with SAS. That's a little bit deeper personalization that you can do by using the pass only.
Okay.
Okay. You have to do little bit coding for that. That is not allowed in SAS. In pass, you can do that.
So for the pass, you have to have your own DBA or Oracle manage it?
No, pass, you can take the Oracle DBA support only.
Okay.
Any patch applications, it could be SAS or pass. We can just raise SR to Oracle. It goes to, if it is a patch related SR, it goes to Oracle Cloud DBA team. Then they'll come into the picture to help us.
So from your experience, it's hard to go with pure SAS, right?
Can you be loud?
From your experience, if a client has already has Oracle EBS, and most of the Oracle EBS they are using for a long time, they have multiple customizations.
Okay.
And from your experience, have you seen that they move directly to SAS or they prefer PaaS?
No, if they have many customizations, we know, then they cannot plan for SAS, right? They may plan for PaaS only. Now, the customers who wants to move from EBS to Fusion, again, they have to go with this approach of re-implementation only. There is no upgrade practice possible, okay, from EBS to cloud. They have to go with the PaaS as per your example. Since they have a good amount of customizations, they have to go with the PaaS only.
So it's not a customer decision that I can go from EBS to
Let
SAS
them take decision to go with SAS. Then they have to, that all the customizations are not invited by SAS, right?
Oh, they have to agree with the terms that you cannot take all the customization.
Whatever the customization they did, the same they cannot do in the SAS. In that case, the relevant functionality they cannot use. How the customization is helping them in the EBS, so that advantage they cannot take in the SAS. Still they can go to SAS, no issues, if that is their decision. But they have to be ready, okay, where the system won't allow them to do the same customization, so that they cannot handle that certain custom process within this environment. If that is okay for them, yes, they can go.
So in SAS environment, they can create a custom page and use it.
SAS you cannot create. In PaaS you can create custom page and you can use. In SAS you can create custom report and you can do the custom report and you can do the third party integrations.
Gotcha.
Not custom page.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, can we start with the SAS? Can we start with the SAS? And if you notice in the middle that okay, it's not suitable to us, and request the Oracle to change the instance to PaaS, does it possible?
Simply you can switch from SAS to PaaS, because it's all about Oracle gives the additional flexibility of doing the customization. Yes, you can do from SAS to PaaS.
And all what we have done is will be available, the transactional data.
Yeah, everything as it. See, simple. They'll enable the option of customization. That's all.
So this is more of a system architect job to guide the customer that you can, depends on your requirement, you can go to SAS or you can go to PaaS. He will enlighten the customer, right?
Yes, definitely. That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Fine. Any other?
So there's no difference in application wise. You're learning
no
SAS
difference
and
in application functionality or colors as it is.
Okay.
By looking at
So
it, you cannot figure it out whether SAS or PaaS until unless you are part of the project and you got the information from someone else, or if you are a ADF developer or etc.
Okay. So if you're interviewed for an application, so basically it can be a PaaS. So So what additional skills for PaaS we need? Like we need that customization.
See, it's not
skill?
like because you will be introduced for PaaS application. It's not like the case. If client is going to use a PaaS, in that case, they will do the customization. Customization need to be done. They require one ADF consultant. That's all. The additional roles are required for them. But a finance consultant is not going to work in a different fashion. No.
Okay.
It could be SaaS or PaaS or on-premise Fusion applications also. The application is same and everything is same. Your role would be same. Yep. Any other questions?
Like one more question. So if most of the customers are into the SaaS,
if you don't mind, can you be a bit loud? I'm not sure why it is coming low. I think I set it.
Is it better now?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, my question is, if the trend in the industry is for more customers to start taking a serious look at the SaaS subscription, what does tomorrow look like for a technical consultant, so to speak?
See, the technical consultants, when I talk about EBS, they got good demand. But when it comes to functional Fusion Cloud, the scope of technical people is very, very less. Okay, the technical guys and DBS is already many resource migrated to this Fusion functional. It could be finance or SCM, HCM or PPM. Already they I mean I could see like many guys completed trainings. Almost they are trying to get the job and they are working also. So technical scope is very less on that cloud case. Hardly we need technical consultant to do the SOA integrations, third-party integrations. That could be through SOA or ICS, whatever you call. And apart from that, BA reports and ADF pages. Apart from that, there is no great work for the technical people in cloud. The conversions and all we can do as a functional consultant. Okay, in case of EBS, all the conversions need to be executed by technical consultant. Even the implementation is vanilla implementation, still you need technical people for conversions. There may not be customization, at least for conversions we need. That is not there in the cloud now. The conversions we can handle. It could be master data, transactional. That also we are going to cover in our classes. Complete master transactional data conversions we are going to see. But technical people we don't require. Okay. Every cloud project, even you don't see one dedicated technical consultant. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 4 or 5 projects, you may have one technical consultant. Again, they may require whenever they require. Okay, not so the duration of the project.
Yeah, if I see how this is designed, is that in cloud projects we don't need any DBA, dedicated DBA. We do not need any tech lead.
Exactly.
Sorry.
In our
we do not need any dedicated apps DBA. We do not need any dedicated technical lead, right?
Exactly. I mean to say, like, if you are a DBA part, yes, exactly. We don't need any DBA at all from our team. The DBA part will be managed by Oracle. Whenever you have some, see, the installation, everything, no need to do. The Oracle directly providing the instance, right? Only DBA may be required if you have some issues, some patch need to be applied, some cloning need to be done. Rise SR and they'll do it. That's it. The maintenance and all anyway, without our intimation, they'll take care of it. And when it comes to technical people, it could be SaaS or PaaS, depending on which integrations you want to do, whether you want to develop the BA custom reports or not. If it is a PaaS, you are going to develop any new functionality. Depending on that, how much amount of work you have related to these areas, accordingly you can plan whether you require dedicated technical consultant or not. That's it.
Got you.
But most of the cloud projects, what you could see is, if you take example of some ABC companies doing the consulting and they got 5 cloud projects, for the 4 or 5 cloud project, hardly they may have 1 or 2 technical resource to help them wherever they have to do something. That's it.
So for integrations and
exactly. Yep.
This type of part.
Yeah, all the time
the
they don't find work, the technical people. When we are working on a project right from beginning to till execution, and after execution also support also, as a functional consultant we should be there. But when it comes to technical, So whenever the integration is required, they'll just come and do it later. They may not be part of the project. So that's how the company is also utilizing that technical resource to work for multiple projects.
Great.
Yeah. Any other?
So it's no unique screen. No unique screen.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. Thank you for giving the highlights that how the world is changing.
Yeah. Fine.
So from your perspective, concluding, from your perspective now, in a SaaS project, the full-time consultants, you have a couple of them, and a project manager and a shared technical resources. That's how it works in a general way?
See, in any project,
how the team looks like.
No, any project, the full-time resource are manager and functional consultants. It could be any functional.
Yeah, it could be any functional.
No DBAs in cloud, not required. Technical people, whenever they required, wherever they required. That's it.
Yeah, it depends on the task schedule.
Exactly.
Oh, great. Thank you for giving me
thank you.
updates.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, hi Lakshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question like in Oracle Fusion Cloud will be having a Fusion functional will be having a physical server, and in the cloud
cloud, okay, yeah, in on-premise.
Yeah, in on-premise, yeah, in coming to Oracle Fusion Functional, we'll be having the servers, physical servers over there. What about the screens? Like in
Same.
EBS, you'll be having GUI. And what about the responsibilities? Like we'll be having the in the Fusion Functional, we'll be having the same like application implementation consultants itself or IT security manager, same terminology will be there or different terminology will be used over there?
Slightly they changed certain naming conventions, etc. They changed. Okay, but GUI like in EBS, almost the graphical user interface they built with the forms, right?
Yes.
But here web pages, completely web pages that they built with the ADF technology. Okay.
Okay.
Mostly the terminology same will be using, okay, with respect to application or anything. But slightly few things they changed, naming convention, setup related, etc. Those they changed, that we'll see in our classes. When you go through our classes, you can understand, you can correlate. Yep.
Yeah, right now this Vision Instant is SAS. But if you want to access pass, we can access in the Vision Instance.
So for training, Oracle is not providing, but again for functional people, that is not at all required.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Fine. So that's all for today. In the tomorrow session, just we'll go through FSM more detail level, what we can do with FSM and how to create the implementation project within the FSM. What is the purpose of implementation project? If you want to create implementation project, prior to what you have to do without creating implementation project, also how to do the setups. There are certain points which you have to understand. We'll talk about those and we'll see in the system. Okay. Still any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we can wind up for today. Okay. Thank you all. Have a good day and good night. See you tomorrow.